Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first ever podcast of Tachy Talks. I'm Advait. I'm going to be one of your hosts. And joining me are two lovely ladies who are my really close friends. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
That's so cute. I'm glad that we're close friends and not enemies.
There's a first for everything.
Warms my heart.
It's okay. After we spend all this time together, you might want to get rid of us. My name is Kylie Sawari.
And I'm Hailey Curtin.
And I guess, Hailey, do you want to describe pretty much why we started this podcast?
Yeah, sure. So obviously there are a lot of really cool medical podcasts out there. So why are we jumping on the bandwagon? Well, we found that a lot of podcasts around medicine have to do with research or like cool new things that are going on in different subspecialties. And we're looking more to create a podcast that's for medical students and pre-meds about the journey a little bit. So we're going to talk about like how we got here. We're going to check out all sorts of different backgrounds, have some classmates on. And really we just want to kind of lift the veil on how you get into medical school, what medical school is like, and then eventually how you go on to residency.
As Hailey was saying, we're going to invite a bunch of different people on to speak with us. And I don't think we said before, but we're all rising second-year medical students. So we finished our first year and we're at a Canadian medical institution. And that was another one of the reasons that we wanted to start this podcast. I think all three of us had the same experience, that nothing against our neighbors to the south, like directions, but there wasn't a lot of information for our process and tips for how to get into a Canadian med school. So we wanted to do a podcast that helps our fellow Canadians, which is really nice of us, I know. But with that, as Hailey was saying, again, we aren't experts. So we do want to invite people to come and share their experiences with us. And we all have different paths and different journeys. We've all gone through different parts of life. And I can't speak to things that a lot of my classmates can speak to. So they'll be here to share their stories with you. And hopefully you can relate to them.
Yeah, so a lot of our stuff is going to be targeted towards pre-meds, undergrads, high school students who are interested in getting into med school, but also med students themselves who are going through med school, trying to apply for residency and, just trying to become the best physician they can be. And, we're all going through the process ourselves. In about 2-3 years, we're going to have to apply to CARMS ourselves. So, we're going to bring on people who are going to show us how this process works. We're going to get some inside information and just sharing tips and tricks on, I guess, how to survive through med school. Because honestly, it's great, but it is a lot of work at the end of the day.
I was just going to say, I think I need those tips.
Yeah, like we all need tips.
We're going to figure it out as we go. And as much as we're doing this to entertain ourselves, we're also doing it for you guys. So if you have any ideas of what you want us to talk about or questions, you can always reach out to us. We have like all the social medias, but you can email us at tachytalks@gmail.com. Tachy Talks is all one word. And I'll plug our socials in at the end of the podcast so you can reach out to us on Twitter or Instagram or whatever works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get started, we just want to let everyone know that we are not speaking on the behalf of our institution, nor do we represent our institution at all. We are not experts. We are not medical experts. We don't give health advice, and all opinions we share are our opinions only.
Yeah, no, that's really important. Everything we're sharing is just pretty much coming from ourselves, and we're just having a casual conversation as three friends. But you're going to become our friends too in the coming weeks, because we're going to spend a lot of time together. And I think it's important for us to introduce ourselves so you get to know us a little bit better. And you guys have no problem if I start off, right?
Oh, you go for it.
Yeah.
You just like talking about yourself.
I know. Let's be honest. This is probably going to be the best one, and then you guys can turn off the podcast later. But
I mean, before you start, I just want everyone to know that if you see Advait walk into a study room, you just need to know that you're not getting any work done. Yeah, he's a chatter.
Like, okay. I see him in a study room and I turn the other way because he never stops talking.
Listen, that's the only thing that's going for me right now. But whatever, regardless.
Take it away, Abby.
Okay. So where do I start? Do I start off with my birthday? I don't know.
Or start off with your astrological sign.
I'm a Capricorn. Yes. So you guys can try to figure out when my birthday is. It's probably not hard to figure out because I'm on Facebook and stuff. But, ever since I was a really young kid, my main thing was being an astronaut. It was not being a doctor. being an astronaut is really hard, I found out.
We were literally, just before we started this, we looked up all the physical requirements and everything to be an astronaut, and I don't think any of us are going to make the cut. So
yeah.
No, I'm telling you, okay, if someone can, I swear you need corrected vision, because I don't know if you can see, well, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening to this on Spotify, I'm wearing glasses right now, and I think both of you have glasses, but I swear it says 2020 corrected.
It's corrected, yeah. You can wear glasses, but like you also need to be like smart and like tall.
Are you implying I'm not smart?
I mean,
I didn't. Those
should
are
say
your
that.
words. Your words. And like you need to be able to go in those spinny things, and I just could never do that. And also, I don't know if you guys knew this, but space is really large, and I just feel like it'd freak me out. You know?
No, I think honestly, like space is the coolest thing ever. I want to go there at least sometime in my life. If they let that happen in the future, like that's my thing.
Taking a stand against space.
Okay, I don't want to get too off topic, but just like one other thing about going to space. Did you see that new like hot air balloon that's going up? It's like $125,000 for a 6-hour trip up to space, and then you come back down. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
I
so
know
like,
a hot air balloon to space.
Good question. If you know the answer, DM us.
yeah, it's like I probably won't be an astronaut, but maybe I'll be able to afford the hot air balloon in the future. I don't know. But yeah, ever since I was really young, I wanted to be an astronaut, and I guess that kind of pulled me towards the sciences. Just really loved all the biology, chemistry, and even math that we learned in class. But, looking into it further, I realized that being an astronaut is really hard. And my backup, which is weird to say,
take the easy route.
I decided to take the easy route and try to go for medicine, which makes no sense. It's weird to call medicine a backup, but, that's kind of what medicine was for me. But yeah, in high school, I did really good in my classes. I went to the University of Windsor for my undergraduate degree, which was in biochemistry, and I really enjoyed it. I really loved the chemistries, and actually it made me think a few times about whether or not I wanted to go into pharmacy instead of medicine. And I did think about it sometimes, but, just volunteering and talking to other people that I know, I realized that medicine was more for me. I like the more hands-on approach for medicine. And I just like to be a little bit more involved in the medical field. But going off from there, in undergrad, I was really busy with doing research, extracurriculars. I was a typical pre-med. I know some of you might be looking for an extraordinary story about how I struggled and, came back from adversity. But no, it's adversary, not adversary. No, you guys have to correct me.
Adversity.
Advait's talking about how smart he is, but
I know, right? I can't even, listen.
If you needed a sign that you too can get into medical school, this is it.
Okay, all you need to know is that 1, cars was my lowest score. 2, I was born in India, not speaking English as a first language. Okay, but it pretty much is my first language now. But hey, I speak 4 languages at home. I get mixed up all the time. But regardless, I'm just a typical...
Now he's flexing on you because he's telling you he speaks 4 languages.
My name's Advait and I'm multilingual.
I added that to my application, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah. But yeah, just nothing crazy. You can call me, or I used to be a typical pre-med. I am in med school now, so not pre-med anymore. But
you just dabbed.
Yeah, just dabbed. If you guys are listening on Spotify, I just dabbed.
One of the side effects of going to med school is that you fall behind in all of the cultural trends. So we're out here still dabbing, even though that is no longer a thing.
Listen, dabbing is one of the most satisfying things. I don't care what you say.
I know, it just makes you feel so.
It's so satisfying. You get a question right, just quick dab.
No, the new thing is the whoa. You got to be like.
The whoa. Yeah. So. We're trying to be hip with the new kids in town right now, but just keep up with us for a sec. But yeah, it's nothing too crazy. I just joined some councils that we had going on at the university. I joined some things that I was interested in, and I think that's the most important thing. I did a lot of things, like I'm saying, as a typical pre-med, but I did a lot of things that I enjoyed, things that, I had fun doing. I was part of different student councils with my friends. And it was just fun planning for different events, planning for galas. I was part of a tutoring organization, and I really like like I said before, I like the math aspect of science, and I didn't really get too much of that in biochemistry, but I did a lot of budgeting and money handling for a lot of clubs, and that's where I got my kind of fix of math. Even though it wasn't like complicated math, I still kind of enjoyed it. But just, keep doing what you're passionate in. If you're going to join a lot of clubs, and make sure it's something that you're actually interested in, because if you're not, interviewers and admission committees, they can tell right away, because there are thousands of people applying for medical school. And, it's really hard to make yourself stand out or be unique. But yeah, I got in last year, and I have successfully completed my first year due to our exam being online because of COVID.
No, don't sell yourself short. You're a smarty pants.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I'm the smartest one out of the three here.
Okay, let's not take it too far.
Chill out. Like, yeah. It takes a compliment. You give an inch, takes a mile.
Yeah, you just can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys want to add anything or talk about yourselves?
I can talk about myself.
Yeah.
Go for it, Kylie.
Okay. So mine's a little bit different than Advait's in a few ways. So first of all, I did not want to be an astronaut. I don't know if you guys know this, but I wanted to be a pop star. And specifically, I wanted to be Britney Spears. My mom didn't like that, though. She wasn't a fan of that, which is fine. So I guess I landed on my backup, too, which was being a doctor. Who would have thought that two people could have had a backup of being a doctor? But that's fine. No, I'm just kidding. It became my main plan starting in, grade 8. With that, I'm from the GTA, so I'm actually not from Windsor. I want to give you a little spoiler alert. Hailey's also from Windsor, so I'm not exactly a clone of them. I'm a little bit different from them. I did my undergrad at the University of Guelph in biomed, and kind of similar to Advait, I went through high school. I liked sciences. I also really liked chemistry. I thought about majoring in chemistry. And then, I don't know if you guys did grade 12 chem, but then that was out the window. So I liked grade 11 chem. But then I really liked biology, so I ended up picking biomed. And I really liked Guelph. It's not like a traditional pre-med school, I would say. I know that some people think that you have to go to a school with medical school and vet, I spoiler alert myself. Guelph has a vet school, so it's a little bit different. And if that's something you're interested in hearing about, slip into our DMs or slide into our DMs, and we can definitely talk about that.
And slide on into the DMs.
With that, my journey took a little bit more resilience. So in undergrad, I knew I wanted to go into medicine, but I was almost intimidated by how much people wanted to go into medicine and pre-meds. So I took a step back in first year and tried to figure myself out. But then by second semester, I really knew I wanted to go into medicine. But my first year GPA was not good. I know that a lot of people say that, I don't know, what do you guys think the goal GPA would be? I know they say as high as possible, but.
Yeah, I don't know. Because Canadian schools have, if you're applying for Canada, they all have their own specific GPA calculation thing going on. It changes every year though, so keep that in mind. But
yeah, well, and
I don't think you have to have a 4.0.
No, you definitely don't need
a total myth. I think cutoffs are around 3.7, but if you have 3.8, 3.9, you're Gucci.
Okay, if this gives anyone some inspiration, my 4-year GPA was a 3.62. So if you don't have to have the 4.0 GPA, that is totally a lie. By no means. And every school, we'll talk about this in later podcasts, but every single school has a different calculation for how they do their GPA. Some schools look at your best 2 years, some look at all 4, some take certain courses to look at. So make sure you look at every school when you're applying to them. But with that, my first year GPA, it sucked. And my second year GPA got a little bit better, but I really, really don't like genetics, and that messed me up a little bit. So I know I personally struggled this year with the genetics courses. I used to have one of our friends sitting in the small group room with me, writing everything on the whiteboard, and then I got the bare minimum I needed, so I'm still working on genetics. But then with that, the other big pre-med problem is the MCAT, and I feel like I'm really exposing myself here. But
this is good.
I wrote the MCAT 3 different times, and opposite to Advait, carbs was actually my best section. And ironically, based on my high school, likes, I kept rewriting before the chem and physics section because for some reason, I just was struggling so hard with physics. So I think with medicine, and I was telling this to someone the other day, like their buzzword is resilience. And I always used to tell people that the process to medicine itself is what shows them that you would be a good doctor. And if you don't give up and you keep going, they look at that and they value that. Obviously, they're not looking at this and say, oh, this girl wrote her MCAT 3 times, good for her. By no means, that is not the advice I'm giving. But don't give up when things go wrong because things will go wrong. They always go wrong. With that, I don't know if there's anything else that was interesting. So my third and fourth year went a lot better. I got a much better 2-year GPA, and that's kind of where I ended up where I did end up. And, you know, it all happened for a reason because I have the best friends now. I love them so much. And then what I want to do at the end of these 4 years is I would like to go into emergency medicine one day. I really like, I guess I can tell you why I like it. I like that there's a lot of different things. You're not focusing on one thing every day. You're going to see that like my brain goes in a million different directions every day. So I like that I get a little bit of everything. I like that you have like a fast-paced environment, but you can also scale it back a little bit and do things a bit slower. So it's kind of like a mix of everything. And everyone who works in emergency medicine is a really cool person. So if you have the opportunity and you're doing some shadowing, or if you're in med school and you need to do some offloads, you're starting first year, do Emerge. It is so fun. You'll love it. Hailey?
Yeah, emergency, like it's so hands-on for students, especially like for medical students. I found that all of the preceptors we've had in the emergency med are like, yeah, get in there, do it, go take that history, go do that physical. And it's like I don't personally want to go into emergency med, but just the experiences that you get there are crazy and so useful.
And even everyone in the specialty, like I know sometimes for people in pre-med, you're like, you feel like kind of everyone's in it for themselves. And I never had the experience of being sabotaged, but I didn't feel like a community. But Emerge, everyone wants to help you. People are sharing their resources with you. They'll like send you emails, go on calls with you, try to get you to where you want to go. I don't know. And I know there's other specialties like that in medicine, but I just love community.
Okay, so I guess it's my turn. I am from Windsor, as Kylie said. I graduated from my undergraduate degree in 2019, last year. And if we want to talk about going to a non-pre-med school, I went to Trent University, which is up in Peterborough, and it was also the best little known fact.
Wait.
Yeah, okay. Believe it or not, I went to Trent. They're making fun of me because I talk about Trent all the time because I loved it so much. I literally think, I really honestly think that it is the ideal place to do your undergraduate. I'm going to turn this into a commercial for Trent.
They should pay you. You need sponsorship money right now.
I just love it
Honestly.
so much. Like Peterborough is such an amazing city to do your undergraduate in, whatever. I loved it there. I actually started in a biochemistry degree and then they introduced the biomedical sciences degree. So I was the first cohort to graduate with a biomedical sciences degree.
She has this speech memorized.
Yeah, I do have the speech memorized. I talk about it. I just love it.
Honestly, I'm going to in our class, going to Trent University is actually a meme. Because I think she says
I'm the only one.
Because she's the only one. I think she reminds people every week that she's been at Trent University.
They need to know.
Sometime. It's some conversation, it'll just pop up.
If you haven't, go Google right now. Go Google Trent University and just look at how gorgeous the campus is. And then you'll be like, oh, I'm going to go there too. The other thing about Trent is we didn't have pre-meds. There were 4 of us who wanted to go to med school in my year and 3 of us ended up going. So we have a 75% acceptance rate, just throwing that one out there.
Damn.
But I was totally oblivious to the whole pre-med culture that sometimes other institutions get a reputation of because we were all just like, oh, you want to go to med school? I want to go to med school. Let's be best friends. And there was not really that competitiveness. So hearing about that or experiencing that now is a little bit shocking for me. But yeah, I did pretty well with my academics. I think I struggled with getting a lot of extracurriculars, which I think is something a lot of med students struggle with, or pre-med students struggle with, is what should I do? What looks good? What will make me stand out? So actually my time was mostly taken up by rowing. I was on the varsity rowing team. I wasn't a rower. If you are just listening to this right now and you can't see me, I'm 5'2" and not athletic at all. So I obviously wasn't rowing. I was the coxswain, which means I sat in the boat and steered the boat and spoken to a microphone and told the boys who were rowing what to do. And everybody laughs at that too. That's a big meme too. Hailey, did you do rowing? Yes, I did. Thank you.
I'm
but
shocked. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I didn't know you
I
did
know.
rowing.
It's a
What?
secret. I just like to keep the details of my life very mysterious. But yeah, so that took up most of my time, and then like I kind of tried to fill it in with like being on some department boards and a little bit of volunteering, nothing in the hospital except for my coursework that I did in the hospital. I had very little research. I thought when I was in high school, I was like, I'm not smart enough to go to med school, so I'll do a PhD instead, which kind of logic is that? I don't know. But that was what I was thinking. And then I realized I got to university and I was like, wow, I hate writing lab reports. I hate doing research. I hate all of it. Like I need to be doing something with my hands, talking to people. So I was like, I'm just going to go for med school. Maybe I'm not smart enough, but maybe I am. And it worked out for me. So, and like I said, I like to do stuff with my hands and talk to people. So I'm interested currently in critical care and trauma surgery and pediatrics. I know that's a little bit of a weird mix, but I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet, if I want to do surgery, if I want to do medicine, trying to figure that out. But I really, really like acute care. Advait, I don't think you told us what you want to do.
Yeah, so I don't know. You guys could probably tell them what I want to do because I think everyone in our class almost knows now. But I'm interested in urology. Why urology? I just think the procedures are really cool. If you go on YouTube and you just search up some procedures like a TURP or something, I just think, honestly, I've never done an observership yet because of COVID, and we're not really allowed to be at the hospital at the moment, only as people who finish first year. But I really want to try out some of these procedures, and they just look interesting and fun. But yeah.
And COVID is another thing that we'll be talking about. So obviously there's a lot of craziness going on here. So you can definitely keep up with us and everything we're doing. And we will definitely be talking about how the different schools are handling COVID, what it's like to be a medical student right now. And I know especially this admission cycle, I think is going to be a little bit extra stressful for people. So definitely going to be
something that Hailey said reminded me that I didn't talk about it. Just the hot topic of research in pre-med. I know that is something that a lot of people have very strong feelings about. I also never did formal research. And then I guess I'm exposing myself a lot today, but I also applied to medical school twice. I was rejected the first time I applied, and I took a year off between medical school and undergrad. I ended up working in a family health team in the city of Toronto, and it was tons of fun. It was such a great experience. I got to learn, I was a receptionist / an admin for them, and I got to learn so much really valuable information. So don't think that if you get rejected from med school, it is the end of the world. It is not the end of the world. As I was saying, you have to be resilient. You have to work through it. But there's so many other options. I know, Hailey, you were saying you didn't want to do your PhD. You don't have to do a master's just because you get rejected to medical school. There's so many other paths for you. There's so many different things you could do. So that just while you were talking about that. And extracurriculars, that's another thing I forgot to mention really quickly. I did the classic, did some clubs. I went on some Habitat trips that were really fun. But what Advait was saying, definitely do what you're interested in. You're going to hear that a million times from a million different people, but it can't. That's the most true piece of advice. Anyways,
you'll honestly hate yourself if you're doing something you're not interested in. You'll start questioning, why am I doing this? Why am I spending time out of my day doing this? So yeah, that's really big.
I don't want to get too much into admissions and the interview process and everything right now, but I just want to throw out there that if you could have the most impressive extracurriculars in the world, and then if you go into your interview and you can't speak passionately about them, they'll know that you hated every second of it. It just comes across in the way that you talk about it, right? And they don't care, what they care about is that you have a life outside of medicine. Because the number one way to get burnt out is to pour all of your energy into medicine and med school, and that's not something anybody can maintain. So just gotta find that stuff that you really enjoy doing that takes your mind off school. That's a good way to burn stress, and that will make you a top-notch candidate.
Mm-hmm. And just talking about future podcasts, because this one was just an introductory podcast, but going off of what Kylie and Hailey said before, we will be talking about whether or not you should be doing a master's degree or not. We'll interview some people that did a master's degree before going to med school and some people that decided not to do a master's degree before going to med school and why they chose to do that. And we'll also be interviewing people from different schools about how their school is handling COVID. So we'll try to get students from, medical schools all across Canada, from University of Toronto, Ottawa, you name it. And we'll try to, interview them and see how their school is handling the situation. Just so I think it's important that people just know how the school is doing right now during these tough times.
And maybe we can even go outside of Ontario. We can check out Dalhousie and
for sure.
UCal and everything. So no matter where you are in Canada or the US or literally anywhere in the world right now, I promise there will be some content for you. So stick with that.
Yeah.
With that, if you have a specific like individual story and you're worried about us being able to represent you, DM us and tell us everything that is going on in your life, and we will try to find someone who can speak to your experiences, because I guarantee you are not the only person in those shoes. So we want to have something for everyone. So
yeah, and we have a pretty large class. So like we'll find somebody that is you, but older. And we'll
wiser.
Just kidding. Wise. Are any of us wise?
And if you're interested at all in applying to the States or overseas or Europe or something like that, we will also have shows about how to apply to those places. And we'll try to bring in, once again, people to talk about their experiences when they go to medical schools outside of Canada. But once again, our podcast is going to be very Canadian focused, because that's what we're really trying to represent here.
The other thing you can do is if you have any questions that you want us to answer, we're going to try to let you guys know on our socials what theme we're dealing with each week. And you can send in your questions that are related to that to any of our socials. And we'll try to do a little question and answer segment. So really important that you go and follow us on all of those things, and or email us. And so you know what's going on, you stay in the loop, and that'll make it just even more fun and more information that you want to know.
If you couldn't tell, we're all very lonely right now.
Yeah.
Due to coronavirus, we're all in our own houses. I moved back home. This is like the most social interaction I've had all day. So we just really want to talk to people. So please come talk to us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole reason we made this podcast. It's because like we had nothing else to do during COVID. And yeah, so we're just doing something
and we want to share our experiences.
Yeah. We just want to share experiences.
All around sounds like a fun time.
But yeah, do you want to just give them all the socials that we're on? We're on Instagram, Facebook.
So we're on Instagram at Tachy Talks. We're on Twitter at Tachy Talks. We're on YouTube as Tachy Talks. We have a Gmail, tachytalks@gmail.com. Tachytalks@gmail.com. I'm sorry. And we're also on Facebook, and that's just Tachy Talks. So you can find us anywhere. We're going to be very good at being on them and being present. So like just reach out on any one of them, and just so to spell it, TACHYTALKS, and it's all one word on every one of our socials. And you can find us anywhere really. Yeah. So I think, is that everything that we wanted to talk about today? We gave it a little overview.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to be doing this every week, hopefully uploading our podcast on Thursdays, but we'll see how everything goes. So don't hold us too much.
Tachy Talk Thursday, TTT.
Exactly, TTT.
Oh, damn. I like that.
That's the new hashtag.
Triple T. That sounds like a wrestling name, Triple T.
Okay, wait, I know that we're supposed to stay medical focused, but I also really want to talk about this because I saw it on Instagram today. And like balance, medicine, wellness. But there's a petition out right now to rename Columbus, Ohio to Flavortown, Ohio after Guy Fieri, which I think is amazing. And when you say Triple T, I was thinking Triple D, like diners, dive-ins, and drives.
Oh, yeah.
Just reminded me of that.
So go sign the petition.
I'm going to go sign it right now.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, watch all those socials. We'll be posting about this episode. We'll be posting about next week's episode, so you can send us your DMs and everything. And hopefully you guys like this. We've caught your interest a little bit, and we look forward to hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us for our first ever podcast. If you have feedback or anything else, once again, just reach out to us. Or compliments.
If you have any compliments.
We love compliments.
Send them
constructive criticism.
Or compliments.
Or just give compliments.
If you're giving us criticism, you need to sandwich it with compliment. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You can take criticism.
Yeah. But yeah,
I promise you. We're good people. We are good candidates for residency. Please take us.
Carms, if you're listening right now.
Cars, if you're listening, please.
And I think that's it. So you guys want to say goodbye?
Thanks so much for joining us.
Bye.
See you next week.